I'm going to be discussing today a reel from The Times claiming young men are breaking under impossible demands from women, porn addiction, dating apps, and simply just the way that they paint men in this reel is really biased. They paint men as the villains and also the victims at the same time, and that they won't step up. And it sounds compelling until you realize it never mentions the other side, not once. So today we'll dismantle this reel, not to attack men, not to attack women, but rather to expose how it cherry picks the facts to push a deeply one-sided narrative. Stick around because the stats I'm going to drop will shock you. So let's bring the reel up. So we automatically see the opening aspect of this is why are men facing a love life crisis, not a mental health crisis, not a suicide crisis, not a parental alienation crisis, not a isolation crisis, but a love life crisis. You can already see this is going towards a feminized narrative.
Men are in trouble, but whose fault is it?
Right there, a tagline of whose fault is it? She doesn't actually get to the point on it at all, by the way, by the end of the reel, but it's this clever little trick for people to see that it's actually men's fault.
A new study of British men and women between 18 and 45 has revealed that men are at a crisis point.
No shit. We needed a study to prove that. All you got to do is look at the headlines every day. Men are killing themselves more than anyone else. Men are struggling more than anyone else. We're being compared in the academic system against female standards where females thrive. Men are at a crisis point. Thanks, genius.
Nearly half of men are considering giving up on love entirely, with 44% saying they were unwilling to undertake the compromise or self-improvement relationships require.
So half of men are giving up. See how they just straight away blame men. From a 2,000 person study, say that they're unwilling to compromise or do the work that's required to maintain a relationship. Should we look at some statistics potentially? Let's have a look. So women are choosing to stay single. Okay, why? Because they're not willing to do the work that a relationship requires. Women report higher satisfaction in life than men do when they're single. They enjoy independence, careers, friendships, and freedom more. So who's not willing to do the work as well? Projections show 45% of women aged 25 to 44 will be single and often childless by 2030. This labels men as the issue, that they're not willing to step up and do the work, and it's just more man-bashing and feminized celebration.
In the UK and United States, singlehood is rising in every age bracket. This research suggests what's behind that. A quarter of men, bleakly, said they believe no one would fall in love with them. 2/3 of men believe no one cares if men are okay these days.
Like you needed a study to do that? All you got to do is look at headlines all over the place. Look at the ones of female teachers essaying young boys. And there was one article recently that said glamorous teacher, or no, sorry, it was husband forgives glamorous wife for having a sexual relationship with a young boy. And you look at the bias in media towards men. It's always blaming men. It's always tearing down men. It's always saying men are the problem. And these statistics are right. This isn't some made up thing that men just believe it. It's openly out there. Misandry is everywhere. Why would men want to engage with women that are openly misandrous? Why would they? Let's continue.
No surprise that 15% of young men have interacted with an AI girlfriend. Men spent more time online than women and found it more satisfying.
So this is where the epidemic of men comes in. They need to be doing hard stuff and taking on challenge instead of folding to their feelings all the time and being distracted. This is a real issue, and men do need to escape the online world and start to get outside into nature and start to build something of meaning in life. Men are not actually wired completely to focus on love. We're wired to build things and take action. That is the masculine biology. And we just don't have that. We're on screens all day. We're inside all day. We need to get outside again.
Meanwhile, almost a quarter of young men said they actively sought out violent pornography showing strangulation or similar.
All right, now that will seem shocking to people. However, let's have a look at some of the stats that once again seek to dismantle. Man, it's just crazy. It seeks to dismantle this, and that's why this is important. Okay, so this never mentions that women are significant consumers of porn too, by the way. It's just meant that a quarter of men seek out violent pornography. So women make up roughly 30 to 40% of porn site traffic. Older data. Now listen to this when I tell you this. Older data from 2015 showed women were 113% more likely than men to view hardcore content, and over 100% more likely to search categories like gangbang and rough sex. Recent surveys, ALA 2023, found 30% of women rated sadomasochistic content as erotic versus 26% of men. So who's seeking this violent content out more? The stats tell us it's the opposite. But we don't want to talk about that. That's too uncomfortable, isn't it?
The question is, why? Dating apps, porn, and growing social isolation amongst young men have weakened their relationship skills.
Yep, dating apps, porn, social isolation. Isolation is counted through brotherhood. That's why I run a men's group. If you're interested in that, the details will be below. Or find a men's group. Find male contact. You must get into the body and find male contacts so you can start to do difficult things. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is great, boxing, gym, anything like that. This is nothing new. But you have to also start to undo subconscious programming at the same time, because your subconscious programming is going to keep you looping through mother enmeshment and an inability to separate from the father to assert your inner authority in the world.
But there is hope. When asked to rank 18 traits that meant being a man, the results were pretty wholesome. Being a friend came out on top.
Yeah, this is being a friend. This is why brotherhood is super important for men. We used to go to war together. We'd go to die together. We build things together. We cooperate together. Super important. This is why 1 or 2 male friends is very important. And you can seek that out through men's groups. Men's groups are becoming the new tribes for men. They're becoming the ways in which men deal with their stuff. And it's so important because you cannot get guidance and leadership from a woman to help you into your mature manhood.
Then helping those who need it.
Helping those who need it. Okay, so what did we see before in the statistics? That women report higher life satisfaction when single than men do. Men report satisfaction from helping others. Women enjoy independence, careers, friendships, and freedom. Men thrive when they're helping others or they have a friend. Men seem to be more sacrificial. They definitely are. Women put themselves first. That's exactly what these studies and these results are telling us.
Meanwhile, the traditional hallmarks of toxic masculinity, like managing conflict with violence.
Toxic masculinity is not traditionally hallmarked either. It's a made-up term that's been placed into the social sphere in the last decade and really ramped up in the last couple of years.
And having many sexual partners.
Having many sexual partners is toxic masculinity. Let's look at how many modern women have a higher body count than men, because I could guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, the nature of how many men women have slept with and how many sexual partners they've had would completely demolish a man's level of having many sexual partners. I can promise you that. There was a study done with the average body count in Australia is 14 for women, and I think Turkey was just higher. Australia is the second highest place in the world. United States actually ranked significantly lower. I think it was somewhere between 4 to 6 average partners. But I can guarantee you, the only men that are having a lot of sexual partners are the men at the top 1 to 10% probably. Even 10% might be a bit high, but the top 1 to 5% are the only ones that are getting all the women. Women will have much higher amounts of sexual partners than men, but we don't want to talk about that either. So women are toxic masculine then by virtue of their logic on this study.
And when asked whether being a parent is the most important job in the world, 80% of men agreed. more than women.
More than women. More than women. Men see being a parent as more important than women. Think about that from a social narrative, how that's constructed. We've just seen that women prefer independence, freedom, being with their friends more. So we say that men are not willing to do the compromise or the work to be in relationships, yet in contrast, they automatically see helping others, friends, and being a parent as more important. How do those two match up?
So while some of these stats may be concerning, it is clear men still aspire to being connected, caring humans.
Yeah, see, that's still feminized as well. And yes, men are still being connected and caring. Connection and care are feminized driven behaviors. Women will usually seek that. We can see an inversion happening, independence, freedom, career being the top of a woman's list, and a man is helping others, even though that is more masculine. But friends, connection, and being caring, she's saying the only way here really to be healthy masculine is to be more like a woman, which this is so standard of how this is out there. So the systemic issues this reel completely ignores, though, around why men are isolated, which is very important, is mothers receive primary custody in court cases. Women initiate 70% of divorce. So it's almost, what's the point of getting married these days? Parental alienation affects up to 15% in divorce cases, with millions of fathers reporting being cut off from their kids. Paternity fraud tests, 1 to 4% in the general population, up to 30% in disputed tests, meaning thousands of men raise children who aren't biologically theirs. False accusations, credible studies estimate up to 10% of sexual assault reports are provably false. And in custody battles, this is wild, false abuse claims can reach 35% or higher in certain cases. These aren't fringe issues, they're life-destroying for men. So we have to look at this, that both sides face struggles, okay? Men and women need each other. The struggles of men of loneliness, mental health, societal pressure, no one's denying that. But this reel just is not interested in the truth. It's interested in painting out sympathy for one side while not actually taking into the contribution from the other side. So it blames women's demands without mentioning women's independence. It blames men's porn use without mentioning women's consumption. It laments men's isolation without mentioning lost custody, alienation, or false accusations. It's not journalism. This is just pushing a one-sided narrative. And we need honest conversations about how men and women are both contributing to today's dating and family crisis, not viral clips that push half the story. So if you're tired of one-sided takes, hit the like button and share this video. Drop in the comments, do you think media gives men fair sympathy while ignoring their role and women's choices? Let's have a look. Subscribe for more no BS breakdowns of viral gender narratives. I'll be doing way more of these because I think it's so important to bring it to light. Sources are linked in the description. Thanks for watching. There will also, in the show notes, be a link to one of my courses to start actually standing out and developing inner authority and inner strength. And there's a link to potentially join my men's group if you want to do the real work. All right.